That's USB too, huh? Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that one just works. Test. Settings. Oh well. Hey, all right. Thanks for coming out tonight. I'm Lloyd, one of the organizers of the GDG Minneapolis, the Twin Cities group. We also have tonight, we have Jeff Williams, and new to the organizer crew is Patrick Fuentes in the back. We should clap for him. Stop marrying sucker. No, it's great. So Patrick's kind of brings a lot of Android and mobile development to our group. So this is we've been having a regular kind of every other meetup, having just an open workshop night. So hopefully people brought some projects. Any projects that people brought, you want to raise your hand and pay attention to, see if nobody else wants to sit next to you. Resounding silence.
Projects will give you challenges or projects to do. I have some things I want to do, but I got a bunch of others to deal with.
Yes, right. All right, so we've got a. All right.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything super interesting, but creating jars in Android Studio and Eclipse is really easy. Android Studio not as easy, so I figured that out, and then using the Java native interface and actually packaging some of that code in a jar. I have failed that horribly. So I figured that out.
Has anybody done something like that before? No? Great. All right. Other projects?
I guess I was going to work on making an expanded version of the custom views talk I gave last time. And so if people have things they wonder about custom views on Android, I would be very curious to know what you're wondering about, because then I could include it in this talk. So if you got questions, I'll try to answer them, and then I'll also steal your questions so I can answer in the talk.
I see that's Dan. Colin?
Well, Dan's preparing his talk for next month. I'm preparing my talk for next month. I come with 150 minutes of material on reactive programming. So, any questions?
Not for this group, right?
What's that?
150, not 150 minutes.
No. That's just for the thing. Yeah, it's actually a workshop. It's a workshop. So what I want to come up with is really good API mashups to use as examples.
Living in Android world?
Living in the Android world, yes. The API mashups we can use in Android to showcase reactive principles.
Like? Yep. All right. Others?
My resume, I was gonna put into JavaScript, or put into JSON, and then have JavaScript turn into what was the XML formats? Because that might be handy.
Right, translating JSON and XML.
Yeah. Well, specifically, one of the standard resume XML formats.
Oh, okay. I talked briefly last month about Polymer. So one thing I've been kind of poking away at is converting the GDGTC.com site into a paper or Polymer site. So I should push that to GitHub and invite other people to code with that as well. So that's a project I brought. All right, so that all sounds pretty interesting. We may keep this format going. So we've got every other meetup scheduled in this rotation, which would be in December. An idea that's been floated is to have a kind of challenge night. So I might push that one forward. We could. I'm open for feedback. We're all open for feedback. But possibly in December, show up with your kind of environment of choice, be that Android or web or Go for all that matters. And we'll have a challenge with a data set and some APIs for you to use and kind of intro, intermediate, and advanced challenges throughout the night, hopefully to get you up to speed on that. Kind of structure it a little bit more than just the open-ended programmer's happy hour, which is just for fun anyhow.
I should have said I have maybe a topic just because you said Go. Like, yes, this Go could also fit in this meetup. I guess I have been doing a little bit of Go with like medium to low success. But if anybody is interested in Go stuff, just looking for like a CS, I'm implementing a little CSV parser, but I'll put some data put it into a database. So very basic stuff with like my first Go project. So if anyone is interested in that.
Any other topics? All right, so we have a few things in the hopper, and I know it's like housekeeping is totally boring, but they're pretty exciting. So next month, nothing's happening between now and the first Tuesday of next month, and then it all kind of hits the rails there. So the first Tuesday of next month will be an all-day. There's a Google Cloud Summit. So Augusto will be hosting starting at 11 in the morning with full-on Augusto. So the cloud team at Google has a bunch of stuff to announce, and Augusto, running all of their stuff out of the cloud, will be hosting that throughout the day. There'll be light representation from the GDG group there, but we are in full support during the day. In the evening, then we'll have a topic night for Android Wear and other Android topics, which should be pretty great. The next week, there'll be, I'm drafting this announcement, but it's getting way too long. The next week, there'll be a startup weekend, and we're going to have a boot camp kind of design sprint hosted at Cocoa Uptown. Stephen's going to run that. So that'll be Wednesday evening. The dates, we can nail down a little more specifically later. Mid-month or late November, we're going to have a longer evening event. Google Corporate, the mothership, is still trying to wrap their head around DevFest, what it means to be a DevFest. So we're going to have a DevFest Lite, focusing on Polymer and trying to shoehorn in some wearable stuff in there. And that'll be at Macalester College, November 19th, which again is a Wednesday, and kind of go into the evening. And there's some budget that might come with that. So there'll be some cool swag, or maybe pizza. But we'll figure it all out. Eatable swag is always the best.
It could be pretty good pizza.
Well, yeah, except where it will figure it out. By the group because it's next to the building. But anyway, yeah. So that's all the things that are happening in November, and we have a date chosen for our big DevFest event. So last year we had 260 people come to our event at the downtown Minneapolis St. Thomas event. So February 28th, 8th, 9th, Saturday. Whatever the Saturday, the last Saturday in February is. So mark your calendars. It sold out last year. We had 4 simultaneous tracks throughout the day. Rev up your proposals. There'll be a call for proposals for speakers coming out soon. So that's going to be, again, a pretty big, pretty great event. Colin.
I have an announcement as well. We're having MobCons coming up in November. I got a whole bunch of little info packets here on the, if you're interested, on our local mobile conference that we put on. There's also a big contest there they have for people to submit the apps they built, mobile apps, and make lots of money. I think it's like 5,000 cash and 50,000 in development dollars.
Nice. That's an all day or all weekend?
2 days in work day.
Nice.
We got some good speakers from Twitter and all sorts of places. So yeah.
Sweet. Any other local or regional events that people should know about?
Lean Startup is the third Friday of every month. So if you guys are thinking about doing apps and actually want to be profitable with your startup, which seems to be a good idea, then it's a meetup group on meetup.com. Lean Startup Twin Cities, or you can ask them.
Is that meetup with council too?
We have that in council.
Okay.
Kind of looking for the event at Dev Jam, we're a coffee shop now. So, Dev Jam Studios, used to be the Soul Makers, now it's a Studio 2 coffee shop.
Oh, there's still, they got space.
They have events down there, but whatever reasons.
Right. Cool.
I think we have that time.
There's a lot, yeah, a lot of stuff kind of ramps up the last bit of this year, and there's a little bit of quiet space. Brad?
Well, I was just going to say that I know we got some overflow tonight, so once we kind of break up and just hang out, question. If there's a conference room down there, you guys are welcome to speak with them and work on something together. Use that. There's also some seating over there, just some hangout conversations. So you're welcome to kind of migrate where you want.
Cool. And huge thanks to Code 42, Brad, the Code 42 representative there. Longest running sponsor, and they pay for pizza. That's right. Official. So, with all the housekeeping out of the way, we've got a speaker who's going to talk for some time, Sean Weiser from LiveRun. Why don't you give your own introduction? Okay. Did you already test this? Just in production. That's right. Smoke test. I don't know, it's test my code. When I do it in production. This guy?
Yeah, it's not on yet. There you go.
I just refreshing the page. Okay. Hey, that one's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So then the structure of 2.5 is
Yeah, let's see if we can do that. There is lights. Yeah.
Okay, let's just start on this. The topic for tonight is exploring NFC on Android. I first gave this talk at Minibar earlier this spring. This will be a much pared down version. I will let you guys get to your stuff, so I won't take up too much time. My name is Sean Weiser. I work at LiveFront. Companies hire us to design and develop mobile apps and anything around that. Before I get into it, I want to put into a plug for a workshop that one of my coworkers, Benjamin Graham, is giving at Smart Factory. It's on Android Wear. It's from October 29th from 1 to 5 p.m. If you go to smartfactory.com, you will find more information there. Let's see. So, adding wearable features and notifications, creating wearable apps, sending and syncing data, Android Wear design principles, handling voice actions, streaming data from wearable device sensors, and debugging. So if that interests you, you can go to smartfactory.com and sign up there. So let's get right into NFC. NFC is based on RFID technology. It always involves an initiator and a target. The initiator is able to power a passive target. For example, I bought some of these NFC tags. They're just bundled tags and powered. But a phone with NFC on it is able to power them and read and write data to them. It requires a range of less than 20 centimeters to communicate, and the transfer rates are between minutes and kilobits. That's what that looks. So see. So here's a comparison between NFC and Bluetooth. As you see, the range is much lower. The speeds are much slower. The setup time is fine. I'm going to show you an example of how close it actually has to be. That 20 centimeters is pretty optimistic. Is that
8 inches.
yes? Yes.
I just checked.
So, for example, I'll try to read the state here. You'll hear it when it actually successfully reads.
Much touching.
So the limitations of it are short range, very low data transfer rate, and I didn't get into this much, but it's costly to implement. For example, one usage is later shortly is commerce using your phone to pay, and so businesses are going to have to implement or install their own meters to make all this work. So this technology isn't just there to use. So one of the more useful benefits of NFC, or more what's being used for now, is for connecting devices. Many Bluetooth peripherals, for example, actually use NFC to help pair to your device. It pretty much is used to initiate the connection, and that's pretty much it. NFC is good for those small data transfers. As I referenced before, one of the possible uses is commerce. For example, Google Wallets. It has tap and pay functionality, not available on most devices running Android 4.4. This was introduced, the actual tap and pay was actually introduced way back in 2011. I know Apple Pay is now in the news, so that's going to be a big selling point there for them, for Apple. But NFC was on wait for that. So the way the Google Wallet works is something called card emulation. You can do either card emulation with a secure element or a host-based card emulation. Before that, the only way to do it was host-based card emulation. Next slide. We'll offer some explanation of this. So this is with a secure element. So in here, the NFC meter is actually communicating directly with the secure element. This was a problem with many devices before because the carriers do not allow Android to actually access the secure element, so it's pretty much off limits. The host-based card emulation, however, the NFC meter is able to communicate directly with the host CPU. So this was first implemented in 4.4, and that's why now most devices running 4.4 are able to use this. So besides paying for things, identification is also a possible use. For example, you have your any personal information, your rewards cards, pretty much anything in your wallet is going to be able to place inside your phone, or any device really. And then what really interests me, and what kind of got me going on NFC is this idea of automation. These tags, for example, I can program them or write to them, and then with the device read from them and carry out some menial, simple task that I would rather not have to do over and over again. So if you get to some demos or some code, I'll show you some of that. So developing for NFC on Android. So there's 3 different modes. There's read or write mode that is basically reading and writing from these tags. P2P mode, that's where two NFC devices communicate together. For example, there's a technology on Android called Android that actually uses NFC to pair and then communicates over with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi direct. And then there's also hard ammunition mode that we touched on briefly when we were talking about the rule. So NFC tags vary in complexity. I'm just going to focus on the simplest tags. There's something called tag dispatch system. We'll deal with that a little bit. So one of the simpler tags are called in-depth tags. They have the best support of any tag on Android. There are many APIs in Android language to read and write from them. Data is stored in an in-depth message that contains one or more in-depth records. The first record contains info about the entire message. It will contain a typed in format, record state type, and a data payload. So here are the different tag mappings. We are going to focus mainly on TF external type here and TNF well known. So for TNF well known, there are some specific record types. We're most interested in RTD text and RTD URI. So when a device reads an NFC tag, 3 possible intents are pushed out. This is in order of priority. So first, an action index discovered is sent out. Apps can, kind of like how any Android app can declare that they're able to handle intent. This is the same thing. An app can say that it's going to handle one of these 2 intents. And we'll get into a little more of how we get more fine grained. So there's action index discovered, and action tag discovered, and finally action tag discovered. So it goes down the list if no app can actually handle these intents. So here's the intent filter that would be in the Android manifest for apps that are able to read NFC. This first one here, it's only looking for text-only tags. So if it finds something else besides text-only, it's not going to handle that at all. And the next one below is actually handling custom external tags. So when another cool thing about NFC tags is that a tag can contain Android application records. So if a device reads a tag with an AR, it may automatically start the application. And if the app isn't present, the device will actually reroute the user to the place so that you get the app. isn't happening to us right now. So let me show you some code. So this is a basic NFC reader. Anyone know how to increase the industry?
Is there a presentation mode on that?
You're in preferences. You, yeah. Yep, and then end presentation, that's combined with about.
There you go. Didn't know that.
Presentation. Nice.
So some key things to point out here. So here we have intent filters. So we're advertising that we're able to handle the discovered and fake discovered. So this enables foreground dispatch here. If your app is in the foreground, it'll give preference to any tag that actually matches anything that you're advertising. So there's no other apps will get in the way if your app is foreground. On pause, we just disable it so that we don't disturb other apps. So here, this is the real image here, the screen tag. So when an intent comes in, we can check the action, whether it's in-depth discovery or tag discovery. Grab the tag. So one of the things you can do is check if the tag is writable. So all we do is we're just giving them the tags here. So all you have to do is do end-epic with tag next to it, and then check if it's writable. So that's actually really simple. So we did get an end-up tag. We'll connect to it again. We'll get max size, which is actually the remaining size available to write on the tag. And then what we are going to do, so we'll output the tag capacity here. And then we'll actually read the message here. All we do is called get in-depth message. And the message is going to contain multiple records, so we'll iterate over that, and then just spit out what it is. It's going to be hard to see. Let's see if we can get this. Probably be able to see this, but so all it says is GDG. So I had written GDG to this tag beforehand. So that's a reader, very, very simple reader.
And do you write from your phone to the tag?
Yeah, yep. I'll show you the writer next.
How much information do you tag hold?
It depends. Let's see. This tag has 137 bytes remaining. So it's not meant to hold much at all. It's mostly going to be text.
You like it from URL.
Yep.
There's like the 144 bytes and also 1K byte.
So we got headers.
My favorite 1K.
That's the tweet of the future.
So the writer is a little more complicated. Put it up on the emulator just to show what it looks like. I wouldn't be able to actually use it on the emulator because there's nothing to see.
You said there recently, is it block faster than it was block?
This is Gen Motion. It's separate from the default input emulator. So this is much better. So this app allows us to raise a payload here. We'll test. We can either write as text, we can either write as for a URI or an external. Text will just be read like this, just basically URI. So you have one here. Should open just we'll open up the browser. So it's pretty much a glorified URI code. And then external, which is you can specify a custom domain. So it's easier to filter out these eggs. And then you can actually make page reloading as well.
Is there any sort of security in these tags? Security?
More complex tags do have security. I don't know much about it. That'd be interesting to actually look more into.
But making a tag like read only.
Yeah, you can make it read only. I'm not sure what exactly that does. So I think you can actually reformat it and go about it business anyway. So I don't know if that's actually useful or not.
Sometimes
reading those things.
What's that? So let's get actually to the right setting. So here we're going to check if the tag is writable. It's not really just throwing a message. Here. Oops. So there's just an API called write-and-f message. So here's where we actually get the information for the tag. We check that it's external, whether it's URI or if it's just text. Android has APIs to do each specific type. So create external. We can actually, like I said before, we can actually set the domain that we want. Because URI, we just pass in the string. If it's text, we just pass in a. So it's really very, very simple. Then there's just one other thing that I want to show quickly. Just so this is just a custom app. It reads text, just like the tag reader. We have the intent filter here. We're looking for external types of tags with the domain combat.livepoint.NFC. So that you can handle those. So I have a few tags today that I had seen before. One has the payload wake up, one has the payload sleep, and one has the payload car. So we're going to read the tag here. And then depending on what the payload is, we're actually going to perform one of three tasks. For example, I can put one of these tags like I'm going to send, so then when I go to sleep, I actually set an alarm for 6 a.m. so that I don't have to set it again. So there's also a wake up. For sleep, it also shuts down the lasers. So then there's also wake up, which I just turn it back on. And then one other possible usage. Let's say you forget where you park. You're on some event, you're parking in some you could actually have a tag in your car that when you scan it actually sets the location. So it actually gets grabbed the location, sets that you want to stores it in the app. Then there's actually a new option to retrieve it and then marks it on an app, and then you should be able to find your way back. So those are just a few fun little things that I was trying out with these cheap little NFC tags. I just ordered them off Amazon. They're cheap, $5 or $6 for each of these.
So is there a good place to start? Get with a code base or the sample code or?
The Google documentation NFC is actually really good. So I would start there. There are many examples online. I do have my source code available as well. Somewhere it's on GitHub. Let's see if I can do it. And my personal one. Like this. So it's github.com/livefront/NFC-Android. I can take a look at those on my slides in there too. Any other questions?
What are some other practical examples, like maybe commercial applications that you've heard of or something like that? I haven't heard of any.
That's the thing. I haven't heard of that many either.
Okay.
Mainly Google Wallet. Like I was saying, some of the Bluetooth peripherals actually use it to connect to start the pairing between the device and the peripheral. I think some. Yeah, there's actually not that many that I know of. Colin,
yeah, most of the things that use NFC are either using tapping as a way of pairing two devices together, or you can also do it little tricks with it, like you use your phone as a trigger for various things. Like I'll put an NFC tag on top of my clothes washer or my dishwasher, and then when I'm finished putting the load in there, I'll just tap my phone on the tag and have an alarm on my phone. Or you can have a tag on the door of your car that turns off Wi-Fi turn and one on your office or the opposite. Things like that are common uses. There's a lot of things that people haven't done yet because they're waiting for Apple to jump on board and do NFC as well, so that they could reach an entire ecosystem. I think in the future you're going to see more advertising where it's tapped to get information. Like it's obvious they can't do that if it's only 30-40% of the phones that can do it. It's easier to use than the QR code at short range.
Okay. But what I've read is there was a lot of, like, among the big quarks players that couldn't come up with the standard format for dealing with it, so Apple wouldn't get into it because it's too confusing.
They say one time iPhones will never have NFC.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of people said that. I think it was.
So now they have I beat them.
This is not related to IB.
No. It uses the beam. It won't use the same.
Usually the argument for this versus something like iBeacon or Bluetooth is that this actually uses closeness, so it's a tapping motion rather than being something that just transfers data. You have to, if you're going to share something that's got to be secure or private, it's better to do it by tapping than something that's going to broadcast to the whole room. Yeah.
It looks like the Apple Watch has NFC, so maybe if Apple opens that up.
They say it's not opened up on the iPhone 6 or the Apple Watch yet, but it's there, and they can open it up later. I think the guess most people have is wait 9 months or so. We'll see open the door to developers.
Right now, it's just for
Apple Pay, yes.
Oh, it's totally.
For the time being.
yeah.
I stayed in a hotel a couple months ago in Wisconsin, and the key was an RFID tag, and I was able to reformat it. So now I've got one more NFC tag for free, because, well, yeah,
Have you paid?
It doesn't make sense to do it before you're done with the room,
A few more minutes, open up the door next door.
right?
Not going there. But I mean, that's really sort of small. I put tags on my kid's backpack and on the door to leaving the house, and also in like his drawing room, and then another book. So when he comes home and I'm the one catching him from the bus, the wife always wants me to text and say, like, okay, I got him. Well, now I just touch and an SMS to say it says Andy backpack.
Did not stolen.
And then on the door, send one that says house arriving, house leaving. So those are kind of easy things.
Yeah, it's good for simple things like that.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The keychain to turn on and off Wi-Fi hotspot. That is super. They have to the thing from my hotspot and just toggle. Look at it again, turns it off.
Yeah, automation is a great point for everything.
I have at least one example here, if not a couple. This is an NFC speaker. I think I also have an NFC mouse somewhere in that backpack if I can find it. But yeah, in those cases, you'd be pairing via NFC, and you know, it's you just tap your phone on top of it, and it makes the Bluetooth pairing that way.
Your question?
Yeah, so when you have an NFC tag, does every app that's registered for that intent get notified, or is it?
So there's a foreground, something that if you're asking the foreground, you can declare that only it will get those intents. If it's not, it's like the intent dispatch system with Android, where everything gets notified. Google,
Is there a preference then to narrow it down?
I guess I haven't tried. I know that there are apps you can set always use this.
Yeah.
Google recommends that only one app be able to deal with it, because NFC is meant to be a simple, quick process. So I guess there's no stopping other people from advertising that it will handle those intents, but it's meant to just one app per intent pretty much.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, I'm sure there's pizza and projects. Thanks for coming out. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good job on the camera. I said that you guys, all props to you guys, right? They're hard working folks. But he's providing good table, one table. I know.